No,
Hey, guys.
it's not Benny. It's his name is Lenny on the phone. That's Lenny, the bestie Lenny.
His name is Lenny. My name is Lenny Sleeves.
Lenny Sleazy.
So this is what I've written. I said, for Cher and the rest of you, please don't cry for me, Argentina. This has been the blessing of a lion. On the scene, I've always felt like a lion trapped in a cage. God did not make the biggest animal in the jungle the baddest. The elephant is the biggest animal in the jungle, but yet he is not the king. Who is the king? It is the lion. The lion is not the most deadly or the most venomous. Statistics tell us that more people die every year by elephant tramplings than attacks from lions. So, it's case in point. The biggest is not the baddest, and the baddest is not the biggest. It's about having the heart of a lion.
He laughs a lot like Benny.
So yes, guys, I would tell you that that little Tuca, he has never been happier. I took him to the daycare at 8 this morning, and by 11:30, I went back and picked him up, and we have been in snuggle mode all day long.
Nice.
I have 11 months, almost to the day, that I owe my own son, that I was trying to give away to the ghosts of children that I had been chasing obsessively. And meanwhile, I've had he started out a 1.5-year-old, and now he's, clear past 3. And I look down at him, and he's forming sentences. His syllables get bigger, and he's running faster, and he's kicking harder. And I get to just have little short flashes of that because I've been so consumed with Warren and Orson West and Cash Gurnet and now Summer Wells. So it's a beautiful thing. Please do not be upset because I and the strange thing was that when everything happened, there was not even a moment's feeling of what I see from Fish done now. I wondered how could I feel that way, because now I don't have to wake up to the negativity. I don't have to eat my meals with the negativity, and I don't have to fall asleep to it anymore, right? So I also know that I don't have the impulsivity control that a lot of regular human beings have. And
whoa, that was an honest statement. You do not have the impulsivity control that the normal, average person has. Ding, ding.
That trying to help people in the obsessiveness we feel about the YouTube, there was never any way that I was going to be able to quit on my own. There was so much guilt for Summer and for Don and for Candace, and I had to stay here for Cher and Mark and continue to get punished. And meanwhile, I'm praying that God relieve me of the obsession, just like I prayed for him to relieve me of the obsession of methamphetamines and alcohol.
And Benny describes his methamphetamine addiction to the same as his YouTube addiction. Yeah, addictions usually are all kind of the same thing. It goes with the person. You have a disorder. A lion sits on his butt while the female does all the hunting. Also, when defeated by another male, the new male will kill all the baby lions. Lazy and a killer of the young.
He did that. So here I am, right? If anyone was ever happy that I was relieved of the obsession of drugs and alcohol, but this is the same thing. And I love all of you. Cher, you will always be my best. This doesn't stop anything. Cher and Mark, I'll be in better contact because now, Lenny doesn't have his own channel that he has to worry about.
Well, for right now, anyway.
For right now. Now, I'm not actively trying to appeal this. I won't appeal it. I've been told and shown by many people how to do it. But I just am going to make the conscious decision to not appeal it. If at a later date I decide that I want to rejoin, or I feel like my life is in a place where I can rejoin and still be an instrument of precision for my family and the people online, then I will. But I have to put my little guy first.
Yeah. And you have 90 days to appeal it, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yep. And by the way it looks and the way that the strikes and all that stuff still keep coming in, it's very clear that it was a mass flag event. So, I mean, the way that my life works and the way God works in my life.
A mass flag event. Technically, it's reflective on how offensive your content was to people against the community guidelines.
Where I went in and did a screen share termination of my family, that even if they reinstate it, what I would do. But that I'm fully expecting at some point just to receive an email of them saying, "Oh yeah, we reinstated." But that's where the issue would come in. So I had already made a commitment to myself and my family that even if they reinstate it, what I would do is do a last five where I unplugged, where I went in and did a screen share termination of my own channel. So it's never been about the money, right? I'm not sitting here crying, trying to figure out how to get money I'm never going to get. I still talk to Don all day. I talked to Cash Vernon's essentially stepmother today after a couple of months.
So let's remind people that Benny was over there monetized on his channel, collecting memberships. Doesn't it demonstrate next time that you might want to save your money on the membership? In fact, the gentleman doesn't really give a shit about what comes down the pipe or give a shit about his channel. Why even monetize?
I've actually done more work in the true crime community today in real life than I had in a long time. That's one thing that I identified about myself, is that somewhere I made
you've done more work against all other creators in the true crime community. You can be much more specific than that. Yeah, you could constitute at work against the progress of any sort of benefit that would come to any case. You obfuscate the situation now.
Turn where it became only about protecting what I felt like, what was our community from people that were a dereliction to justice. When you have an epiphany and understand the power of the internet, you're fighting a losing battle here. So it was time for me to relinquish all of that and maybe one day start anew with something completely different. But you know what I do want to say,
Ben, your next channel's name, you should title the next channel you have, say one thing, do another. That way you wouldn't be lying to the audience.
I do appreciate every single moment that I've been able to spend with you and Mark and talk about these things. We've probably actually spent more time talking about our lives, respectively, than we have true crime, and that in itself has been a real blessing for me to have yet another powerful female force in my life that is positive and can help guide me towards more positivity. So, my wife loves having you on the team.
What? Benny's wife is a positive female role model in his life? I'll tell you right now. Benny does nothing but lie in his real life to justify whatever cockamamie actions that he's pulling around his family underneath his mummy's roof.
Really is a little while she's at work.
That's it. That's it. And I'll close by saying this. For 11 months, my wife, she tried to get me to quit doing this. And I think last night she understood how unconflicted my heart and my spirit is about this, because I went in and I told her, I said, "Hey, they took the channel." And she was like, "Oh my God, oh no. And I'm like, "No, chill out. It's okay. This is what we need." And she's like, "Well, we can appeal it." And it's like, this woman loves me so much, she fought for 11 months.
There goes that. All those 11 months you were promising how successful your channel was going to be, and it was going to be another source of income guaranteed income for you. That's why you had reoccurring channel memberships, super chats, super stickers, AdSense.
To get me off of it, and as soon as they took it away, she wanted nothing more than for me to have it back. And yes, and that is just the beauty of the growth that I've actually had here. There's going to be a lot of opponents to the things I've said and done, but guess what? I've had people like Don and Candace tell me that I've been helpful in their life and restored hope, and that's all it's about, right? That's all it's ever been about.
Enabling suspects for your own monetary gain and enabling dishonest behavior, which is against community guidelines, and it still will be next time you try to do it.
All that other stuff, like that money, any money I ever made off of YouTube was just a slap in the face. So I am so blessed.
Any that I made out of YouTube is a slap in the face, because think about that for a second. He's so angry at the lack of funds that he feels he's worth. How much are you worth, do you feel? A Dunning-Kruger effect?
To have Cher and Mark and a lot of the assorted other folks in my life that will remain forces in my life. And I'm not done, right? I'm not done. I'm just making a conscious effort to break the cycle of every 5 minutes hitting that app. I haven't hit YouTube one time today. It's not even on my phone anymore. I took the YouTube and the Creator app right off. So I have been exposed back to my family. So here, whenever it's I feel the due diligence, I will be back on, and I will be helping you guys with whatever you need starting today, right? But as far as trying to slide back on and do different stuff, I just don't feel compelled that way anymore. So that's been a beautiful thing, right? I don't feel compelled. I don't feel this anxiety to rush to the YouTube and try to fix everything that someone else has done to themselves.
Right? It's giving you a flashback to The Exorcist. The power of YouTube compels you. The power of YouTube compels you.
Mr. Mark. I mean, I've found that everything like very active, consistent creators, in order to do what we do and do it with any moderate success, you have to be very consistent. And it was just like, how the more often that I had to post to remain relevant and be helpful, was each time it became more consistent, it meant that I was less consistent with my own son. And that's, like I got to bat 1,000 with him before I can try to go step on any field in any arena and try to swing a bat there, right? I got to be 1,000 at home. So it was just one of those things. And there was a nasty comment out there somewhere, and you're like, it was just the one that I remembered. And I remember, I know that it came thousands of times. And it's like, you spend so much time on YouTube and you have a beautiful son. And they weren't even trolling me, but I looked at it like a troll. And I wanted to say, you effing B, you don't know nothing about me. But no, that person knew exactly what I needed. And they were right. And so to that person, you know who you are. I heeded your advice. Not that I made this choice, but I am embracing this choice, and I am loving every minute of it.
That's not completely accurate, Benjamin, because
here you go, bud.
Yep. So, hey, I love you guys, and I definitely, tomorrow, like right now, I'm relishing, like we're eating cheap pizza and getting fat right now, the family.
I love that. That's what we do when we're taking time.
Eating cheap, shitty pizza.
Junk food. We sit in our bed and just Netflix and eat and get fat and happy.
There you go.
That's it. My wife and I, we embraced this morning before she went to work, and then we just embraced since she's been home from work. She just pulled in with the pizza, and it was like, I know it's been forever since I walked in and hugged and kissed my wife and said, "How was your day?"
Yeah, I'll just bet that thought came from you. That's projection at its finest, Ben. That's probably what your wife comes out of your wife's mouth so often.
It's usually been the scenario where she comes home and she's like, okay, what do we have to clean up? What have we done? and she's, I see that her anxiety level is just like, she's had 11 months of anxiety. We've been trying to figure out where it comes from. And it's been coming from, the 35 CPS.
Yeah, that's right. So I bet you that part is true. I have to give it to them. We're really trying to figure out why her anxiety levels are through the roof. I'll put my hand up and answer that question for you. Let me guess. Could it be the fact that she's married to Skeezy?
Now. But, I will never leave Cher and Mark alone, right? We're going to be friends for the rest of my life anyways, however long that is. So I will be there for you guys. And, whenever you need me, just call me and I'll make something happen.
Sounds good, man. Likewise.
Send me that show in a text, though, so I'll put it in the community post.
Okay, I sure will. And Mark, Cher, I love you guys. And guess what? It's the end of an old thing, but it's the beginning of something so much greater than what we had already. I hope you guys understand that, because I also battled with myself not being so spread thin everywhere. Mm-hmm. Like, it started to kill me when I would go over and see that I had messages from Cher that had been sitting there for 4 and 5 hours that I hadn't got to yet. And it was like, that's not what any of this is about. This was about doing this. So thankfully for me, I found Mark and Cher. So now I have, I have these people that I haven't taken away with me. So there's been such a great takeaway in Mark and Cher. And I'm going to take it away forever. So, anyways, I'm going to go get fat on pizza.
I said, we love you too.
I know you do. And I will be back. But it'll be back in the way that everybody needed me to be there. So
there you go.
Yeah.
It's always good to do some self-reflection.
So the thing I would be concerned with most, if I was Ben at this point, and if you have to take a break, fine. Even in this regard, and he's admitted that he's got poor impulse control, which, is, in my opinion, very surprising. So I'll give him something here. There's much more to it, but at least he actually was forthright in admitting what the real issue was here on YouTube. You don't have to go after and be dirty as fuck against everybody else, causing everybody money. In fact, it's criminal, especially when this isn't 2009. We're actually legitimate businesses now making serious fucking income. You need to protect your channels and protect yourself. The best way to do that is friends. Have friends. Be friendly. Don't try to be the only man on the block. And all the things that the individual, everything that he tried to do is going to work against him in the future. That's the problem. Because now you've chased everybody away. Nobody wants to work with you. Of course, you're going to find out what the quality of individuals that you're going to be able to work with is not going to make you a competitive, top-notch sort of organization. Like hiring people like Donnie Wells for your drywalling. I wouldn't call him a high-quality employee. But there's no reason that you can't come to YouTube and do your thing, mind your own business, stay in your lane, as they say, and do just fine. Just remember, don't confuse things. No matter who's right and wrong, don't find yourself as a new creator in that position to be sucked in. In fact, that's the first hurdle you really need to get over, is getting used to what other people think and not giving a shit. Just stay true to yourself. That's all. You'll be good. You'll be fine. And surprising, Doug has come full circle in that aspect, to the point where he needs to settle down because he's almost too happy and he can't control himself when he's too happy. It's a lot better than it was, because he used to get like very aggressive. So It's not that it's a problem. Now he's a comedian. He's in the right environment and he's enjoying it and thriving. Now Doug doesn't have to work another day in his life. Even though technically you're working every day and it's reliant, but you don't feel like you're working because you've managed to incorporate everything into your life, and the world is a different place now. And the best thing to do is bring friends with you and encourage others to succeed and protect. True Tragedies, thank you. Don Wells was just on the behavior panel. By his request, I missed it. Also, thank you, AB, for everything. No worries, True Tragedy. But she's over there doing her thing for entertainment purposes only, remember? It's very important. Fuck, believe in whatever you want to. As infuriating as it is, you're not going to. If what somebody else believes in is going to piss you off to the state of having to act, you're probably doing the wrong thing. But as long as psychics and everybody use that disclaimer, I've got absolutely no problem. Or tarot card readers, or because there's a big market for it. Okay, do your thing. I'm not going to shit on it, but please put your disclaimers in front of it. And people, for heaven's sakes, don't start fucking believing in magic. Science, 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 and facts. We love them here.
I totally get it. I feel bad when I see. That's why. Yeah, he's always apologizing when he doesn't get text messages right away, and I'm always like, calm down, it's okay. And I totally feel that. Like, I feel horrible. Yeah. I still have emails right now that haven't been read from
part of me thinks I'm purposely not watching the behavior panel just because I'd like to remain pure in that sense, because I know I'm going to feel some kind of way, as Nina Boy is going to say. I'm going to feel some kind of way over this. I was disappointed the first time, and I'm too far into this because I have to absorb it. In my mind, a big part of me thinks that which one of them is going to throw Don Wells under the bus here, because he is such a bullshit artist. But despite in his story, despite being a bullshit artist, there's a big part of the story which makes sense, which as we know, we've juggled through the different theories from Chris McDonough and things like that, and the lie detector doesn't account for all kinds of critical things, like the fact or not whether you were involved in the group which had abducted your child or which pulled the plug out from under you. You know, what easier of a person if you were actually a predator like that, who would be taking up the service of and procuring for a young child, and you knew that it was so underground, if you just didn't bring her back from taking her out for the day, you know, just that one time, and keeping that little prize of yours forever, and what the hell would Candace and Dawn do? Nothing. They would have to be forced to make up a story that would probably go nowhere. So in that regard, there's a possibility in my mind that yes, Dawn is telling the truth that she was abducted, but they were the one that passed their own daughter over to the person that essentially didn't bring that prized item back, as usual, for whatever reason. We don't know, as Peter Hyatt likes to say, we don't know the source of that guilt. We can speculate. And yes, one of our speculations is going to be right in this aspect, but we don't have to focus and fixate on it. We can move on. We're right about what's going on. It's just, where does it end?
Could it be, right?
That's how it is on the YouTube streets, guys. It's
And you start off friends and end up enemies.
Yeah.
Best friends. Slug was like, you know, I met him in a time where it was like what he provided to me and what I provided back to him without ever having met him. It was the catalyst to like what I found to be the best type of best friend I had had. until I met Cher. And I realized, oh no, that was just, it was all bait and trap, right? So I've met a lot of good people, but as far as creators, Mark and Cher, they're
Keyz doesn't have any real life friends. He's fucked over everybody, fucked them around.
real people. They're real people like I'm. They're not going to sell out or buy in, right? So it's flush on the board all the time. And I love you guys for that. You guys had every opportunity to do something different than what you chose to do with it. And I feel like it's been guided by something bigger than the three of us anyways, because I'm proud of what you guys have done. I'm proud of what our involvement has been in this situation. Would I go back and do anything differently? Hell no. I do it all the same to be right here with no channel today. I promise.
See, that isn't the... He wouldn't do anything differently. How about everything? That's going to be the problem.
So, yeah, you know, and I've got a lot of people, they're like, a lot of creators, they're like, hey, man, just make a page, make a channel, and we'll share it for a couple of days, and we'll get you remonetized, and, you know, just keep your picture off it. I'm like, it's not about the money.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing it. It isn't about the money. I did what I did knowing that this was all going to be very short-lived.
It's not about the money, as he lives in mommy's house and his wife goes to work every day and he's just chill at home.
So
think about that for a second. So now he's pushing, as long as Chris McDonough finishes last.
Like Slug was like, you know, I met him in a time where it was like what he provided to me and what I provided back to him without ever having met him. It was the catalyst to like what I found to be the best type of best friend I had until I met Cher. And I realized, oh no, that was just, it was all bait and trap, right? So I've met a lot of good people, but as far as creators, Mark and Cher, they're real people. They're real people like I'm. They're not going to sell out or buy in, right? So it's flush on the board all the time. And I love you guys for that. You guys had every opportunity to do something different than what you chose to do with it. And I feel like it's been guided by something bigger than the three of us anyways, because I'm proud of what you guys have done. I'm proud of what our involvement has been in this situation. Would I go back and do anything differently? Hell no. I do it all the same to be right here with.
So
no
here we go,
today,
and this is consistent with having a poor impulse control, because even when he's asking himself, poor impulse control, Skeezy, hell no, boys.
So, yeah, you know, and I've got a lot of people, they're like, a lot of creators, they're like, hey, man, just make a page, make a channel, and we'll share it for a couple of days, and we'll get you remonetized, and, you know, just keep your picture off it. I'm like, it's not about the money.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing it. It isn't about the money. I did what I did knowing that this was all going to be very short-lived. So I went out with the blast. I did it with the bang, right? And I said that as long as Chris M lost, I win.
Yeah. Hey, did.
Hey, I can come in last place. As long as he's laster, I win. So I love you guys, and I give me a shout when you get done with your live. I'd like to chat with you guys privately.
Sure.
Okay, love you.
Love you guys.
Bye, Lenny.
Yeah, right.
Hey, everybody.
For what? I mean, if this guy's and these folks can just do this with real victims that are being helped, because remember, this isn't about me. This is about Maya. This is about Summer. Okay. This is about Kelly Brennan. It was about Suzanne Morphew. Okay. And, you know, now I was just looking into Gabby, and, you know, again, you know, I don't want to talk about, you know, some things that people are going to keep saying. So I'll just, you know, let that go. This is about, you know, unstable ideas and people, and their people. Okay. And the last time I checked, they all had criminal records. So this is about people with criminal records taking down a law enforcement guy. retired or not. This is what it's
like
about.
the Twilight Zone. It really is like the Twilight Zone. I can't believe it.